Hello everybody, I'm off to play Night Cascades again. Like the last time there was some really funny drama about the other character thinking that the other is like married with the guy or something like that. It was really really funny. So let's see where this goes now that both of the characters know that the other is gay and single. So alright. Then let me get the buttons on the internet pressed and the chat visible and stuff like that. Alright. Alright, let's play. So this is back to the teacher now, like Diane, who is the main character. I do not wake with the crack of dawn, but it's still a little earlier than I'd prefer. I don't understand people who think mornings are their favorite part of the day. Even when I absolutely have to rise, I don't feel very much like signing. Yeah, that is pretty much me too. After late, lazy mornings are something else entirely. Times when I can just lounge in bed with the sun coming through my curtains, feeling warm and soft and comfortable, in no hurry to go anywhere, do anything. Especially if I have got someone sweet to share my bed with. Yep, that is Timmy. Someone sweet with a wet tongue. Yeah, well, that is a dog. Could be something else too, but it is a dog. It is a dog. Yes, I love your kisses, you beautiful boy. My fingers drift through his fur, reassured by softness. This sweet interlude is interrupted by a monstrous scrolling. Not Timmy, my stomach. How to get up? Well, that doesn't mean I can't treat myself. Come on, boy. Let's have pancakes. Ooh. Ooh. Mix up a batch of batter in the sunny kitchen, humming tunelessly to myself. I know I can't sing, but Timmy doesn't mind. The first pancake to hit the pan always comes out a little funny. If it doesn't tear on a flip, it will still be the wrong color or uneven or blobby. Timmy is more than happy to take care of the ritual sacrifice. The rest, once properly decorated with butter and syrup and berries, are for me. I probably made too many, but it's home cooking, so that makes it wholesome. And pancakes are only good fresh, so I'm morally obligated to eat the whole stack, right? Yeah, this is kind of also the problem of like cooking yourself. Like you always think that, well, if I cook like extra, then I don't need to cook so many times a day. And then like somehow you end up eating too much. Besides, I deserve some pampering and nobody else is going to do it for me, so I have to take care of myself. Why does that woman have to be so infuriating anyway? It's not fair. She's all sexy and confident and walking around like she's queen of all cats just because she's a cop. And she thought I would marry a man. And she thought it was funny that I still read fantasy books. I saw another sweet syrupy bite into my mouth. You can't chew pancakes angrily. They are too soft. That's the point. But I feel betrayed. I feel like I have spent the last 2 days driving around with an actress, just pretending to be someone I used to know. How could she understand me so little? Well, like... Though I guess they kind had like problems even like earlier because they didn't talk that much. And like, well, there's an easy solution to that. Like, like not understanding each other, like that is talking. Though not always so easy. We were supposed to be in love. We were supposed to be soulmates. I know she left me, but I thought at least before that we were happy. We had some kind of connection. I thought we liked the same things. Was she only pretending to keep my interest? Did she think that I was just pretending in order to impress her? Was anything real at all? She has changed so much. Become this person I would never have predicted. Maybe it makes sense that she thought I would change too. Yeah, I guess. Like not everybody stays the same as in high school. Or maybe we never understood the first thing about each other. We were young and stupid and saw only what we wanted to see. Yeah, that could also be a thing. Merriman, ha! How would she like that if it happened to her? Lord Almighty, what if she wants that? I kinda doubt it though. She is gay, isn't she? I sweep my fork around in circles, trying to soak up all the maple on my plate. Did she ever say one way or the other? She said no one at work knew about her past. Oh, what does it matter? Whether she still loves women or not, she certainly doesn't love me. Well, like after such long time, it probably takes like a little more than like a day or two. Finish my breakfast, take my dishes, the sink to rinse off the sticky syrup residue. Naturally, that's when the phone rings. I grab the dish towel and try to dry my hands enough to not have slippery fingers, then go to fetch it. Hey Diane, aren't you up? Speak of the devil, and he does appear. He sounds much less apologetic than she did when she called me yesterday morning. I suppose I was meant to be expecting her. I'm awake, I was just doing the dishes. Have you heard this morning's news? Probably not, I guess. No, I watched the broadcast last night. It was every bit as sensational and completely fabricated as Jackie had warned me to expect. Blood-stained cultists coming to sacrifice your children and all that? Oh, that is like a step and, well, a couple more from what actually happened. Yeah, we had a father called into the station to report that his teenage daughters were carried off by Satanists and forced to dance around the shed while they burned cats inside. Well, I kinda up because they weren't cats. Which is an obvious flight of fancy. There weren't any dancers or any Satanists. Nothing was sacrificed at that site. Not even marshmallow. Well, you don't know that because they could have just eaten it. Well, there could have been a marshmallow. Something like that wouldn't leave any trace beyond a few ashes. But there definitely weren't any skeletons. It wasn't like that time with the duck. Got worse news this morning though. The situation has escalated faster than anticipated. Oh, it has escalated even from that then. Yeah. I tried to do like a little more voice warm up, but I guess it didn't help too much. Oh well. What happened? Our perp set fire to the lucky penny last night. Okay. Oh my word. Is Mrs. Wilcox alright? She's fine. She wasn't there. No one was hurt. The place is a real mess though. A total write-off. The owner is pretty bent out of shape about it. Well, like no doubt. I'd be upset too if my livelihood burned down. Especially after she asked the department to provide her with the night watch and we didn't. Yeah, well, yeah. It's certainly not my fault. I had nothing to do with that decision, but I feel guilty anyway. I suppose all we can do now is work to bring that criminal to justice. Oh, they sure don't like that lucky penny then. But like, I kinda doubt it is like the same. Oh, I forgot the phone again. Give me a second, I guess. Oopsie. One day I will remember. Would be nice to like take the auto, do it, but oh well. Right, there's a team at the site now. I'll be by to pick you up shortly. The line disconnects. Yes, ma'am. I sigh and hang up the phone. I'd better put the dishes up to dry and get ready to go. But yeah, as I was saying, like, I kinda doubt it is the kid, like, Well, I guess it could be, but like burning down the whole place seems like a pretty radical thing to do when you're kind of the suspect already, like the cops have interviewed you and stuff. So I kinda doubt it, but who knows? When Jackie arrives, she sits there in her car, engine running, arm draped over the wheel, and waits for me. I guess she's in a hurry. Well, it's not like it's a social call. This is a crime, and it's getting out of hand. I climb into the passenger seat, clutching my notebook. Hi. She doesn't look at me, just releases the parking brake. We called in to their homes first thing in the morning. Both the Mitchell parents and Mrs. Kratz swear the boys were home last night. There's not enough evidence yet to arrest them. Well, like the parents could be also protecting them, but yeah, I doubt these are the actual people who did it. And like, you know, like getting that like weird blood paste thingy doesn't sound like something like your average kid would do to vandalize something. Like it is too much effort. Arrest those boys? Why? They obviously didn't do it. Now she looks at me for a moment, a swift sideways glance that is not complimentary. Don't tell me you believe little Eddie Haskell yesterday. Those boys are no angels. I know what a suck-up is. I have seen plenty of those in classrooms. But those boys were obviously afraid that they were going to be in trouble. I see plenty of that in classrooms too. Yeah. They were scared. Why would two scared kids sneak out to do their biggest crime ever right after being visited by the cops? When they knew you'd be watching them? Yeah. Well, on the other hand, it would be kinda big brain move, but in the long run, it would most likely be a small brain move. Well, it wouldn't be very smart, but criminals tend to be pretty dumb. People who think about consequences don't do crimes. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, what about you when you were young? When we were together, she liked to play the mysterious bad girl. Many times she implied she had been in trouble with law, but she said I wouldn't want to know the details. Maybe it is just like words, basically. She said it, so I believed it and didn't ask. But that was then. I'm not that naive anymore. Well, that proves my point, doesn't it? I didn't care about consequences then. What did you do? She blinks. You don't know. Eyes on the road, officer. Sorry. I see her throat move as she swallows. Is she going to answer? Like, is this like basically, like, you know, like being gay was a crime? Like, is that before or like back then? Like, I don't exactly remember how the timeline goes, and it probably varies from country to country. So it was mostly disorderly conduct and underage consumption. Technically B and D, breaking and entering, but only for trespass or minor vandalism, not burglary. So I guess drinking when you're not allowed to do, and then like maybe like graffiti or something like that, I would guess. Like minor vandalism would probably be like graffiti or something. And I played bait once or twice. If I went into a shop wearing leather and spikes, security watched me and not anyone else. You shoplifted? Well, I guess like low-key. My friends did. I was just a distraction. It was stupid. They didn't even take anything valuable. They did it for kicks. And I did it to stay cool with them. She makes a face. And some fights that would have been battery if anyone had been charged, but none of us would ever have squealed. So it is like kind of like a gang of kids doing like stupid things because they think it is cool or something. You beat people up, cuts and bruises. I gave as good as I got. No one got seriously hurt. If that's all, why didn't she tell me this when we were dating? Why did she make it mystery? Well, I guess like like she basically like wanted to be nice to her and like wanted to be like kinda the perfect girlfriend or something. And if you like go like, you know, I'm doing crime and stuff, like that isn't too much of a perfect girlfriend. And after that you became a cop. Within your community-oriented focus, it can be a benefit to have some officers who understand how kids go wrong. She didn't seem very understanding with Eduardo and Alex. I'm being unfair, I'm still angry with her, and I'm pressuring her about things that don't matter. We have a mystery to solve after all. So, I did my homework last night. Started with the comic, but I couldn't find any occult symbols hidden in the art. It was a decent story though. The heroine is a mutant girl with heat powers who's afraid that she's losing control, starting fires by accident. But it's actually her evil mentor manipulating her in order to keep her obedient. Eventually, she learns to stand up for herself and uses her powers to fight for her freedom, embracing the fire instead of fearing it. I had hopes that the mentor's mysterious Hellfire Club might turn out to involve devil worship, but apparently it was just rich people partying and trying to get richer. Okay. Well, we both knew the comic was a long shot. The good news is, I found a match for that big grid symbol on the floor of the burned out set. Oh. It's a... Vivi? Where? I don't know. Maybe Vivi. A sigil used in voodoo to summon a low spirit. For rituals, they are drawn on floors with powder, like we saw, to act as a beacon for the astral plane. I flipped to the picture in my notebook. This is the symbol of Ogon, a god of warriors. He's considered to have very strong masculine energy. Well, I guess the cultists are guys then. Most likely. He's also the god of rum. Remember that rum bottle they found? So they are drunk guys, I guess. And he is a god of fire. I think that setup in the shed was some kind of invocation. Voodoo, huh? How does that connect with the astrology handprint at the store and the yoga symbols from the roast duck? Well, it doesn't exactly, but it does suggest that there is a pattern and that these symbols are being chosen deliberately. Whoever put that site together had a purpose in mind. It wasn't just picking symbols that looked cool. It was an attempt at ritual. Not like you can pinpoint it to like one god kind of a thingy, then I guess it makes sense. Like just yoga symbols or stuff like that is way more vague. Like you wouldn't like try to like invoke like a yoga instructor or something with vandalism basically. Not a real voodooist, not a real Buddhist, but someone with a passing interest in many different traditions. Well, like she does have like some, maybe it's her like sleepwalking. That would be probably like a different kind of game. I think I was wrong before when I guessed this was a teenage punk fooling around. I think this is a new age pagan who believes in whatever they are doing. Not comforting if they believe in burning down the city. I can't think of anything more to say to that. I was excited about my findings last night, but I didn't expect to wake up and find that so much damage had been done. I leaned my cheek against my seatbelt and watched the streets go by. So let's see how burnt shop is, but I would imagine it is probably pretty bad. Yeah, that is yikesy. Not too lucky, I guess. The Lucky Penny building is still in one piece, more or less, but it's clearly too damaged for the shop to reopen without a major refurbishment. Well, no kidding. This time, there are hazard signs around the area, though the hazard is fairly obvious even without the warning. Well yeah, I guess it is. One of the letters has fallen off the store's name display. I don't see it on the ground. I wonder if someone took it away for safekeeping. Or the L letter, I guess. Surely has nothing to do with lesbians. The nearby stores don't look too badly damaged. Jackie said no one was hurt, it could have been worse. Well, like it is soap, I guess. Like around here, like like the usually like the soaps are in the base floor, and then like in the floors above there are like offices or apartments. So like if there were like apartments in the same building, then it would have been pretty dangerous. We get out of the car and cautiously approach. Oh, it is this guy again. A familiar face is standing guard over the location. Good morning, Officer Romano. Good morning, ma'am. Ah, your case again. That's right. Is Mrs. Wilcox here? Well, probably like a pretty awkward thing to chat with her. Don't know. Nah, she left a while ago. Probably for the best. Woman was hopping mad, saying we should have stationed around the clock patrol, like we don't have better things to do. Well, if there had been a police patrol, then they could have caught the arsonist and stopped all this. Who's been here so far? Mostly the fire department. Between the fire and the hoses and them stomping around, there wasn't much left for forensics to bag. No, I don't know like how much there would be left anyway, but mostly you're probably interested in like how they set the fire. I don't think there was like anything too like flammable inside. So I would imagine like, yeah, I don't know, like maybe if you can set like like any kind of fire, it will slowly spread, but like I don't know. You'd have to break inside, I guess, and then set fire. I guess it could also like, well, this is baseless speculation, but it could also be that the owner just like wanted to scam the insurance company. Like that would answer like how you get inside basically. After it was out, the fire team did their assessment and took pictures to try and determine point of ignition. Like what is so like interesting about this building in particular? And like why didn't they burn the building to begin with, like why draw the evil eye or not evil eye on the window if you're going to burn it anyway? Like what is the point? Or like is that some kind of a warning like we are going to burn it now? But what is the point of that? We need to look for specific details that wouldn't have interested the firemen. Can we go in? They said what's left of the structure is generally stable, so it should stay up as long as you don't go shoving anything. No worries about fingerprints. This was a public space. Anything not ruined is still worthless for evidence. Unless you find the gas can the fire brigade missed, it doesn't matter. It must be difficult to get good evidence for crimes that take place in stores where anyone can handle the merchandise. Yeah, I guess. Like if there is something that they always used to set the fire, that is a different matter. You all be careful though. There's a bunch of broken glass in there. Might be some nails too, so watch your step. Especially you, ma'am. Why especially me? Did I look accident prone? Easy saying I'm not as competent as Jackie. Well, you stepped in the mud before, so maybe that's why. But I smile and nod and thank him for his courtesy. We step a little closer. Do you need a hand? No, I shouldn't be mad. I probably do need help. And at least she asked. I guess you were right. If I'm going to do jobs like this, I ought to buy some boots. Her eyes gleam as he smiles. I'm hopeless, aren't I? I can't help smiling back. Probably be alright if you're careful. Normal shoes are enough unless you come down on a hard, sticking straight up. If you feel any sharp pains, if anything scratches you, let me know. It's worth the hospital trip to be safe. One bill from the ER could wipe out everything this job pays. Oh yeah, this is the America, I guess. She sees my worry and offers me her arm. Hold on to me if you need support. I'll just... Okay, thanks. I grip her arm through the jacket, careful not to squeeze too hard, and proceed into the dark. Crunch, crunch. We are only a few feet from a bright, sunshiny day, but everything feels so wrong. There's a crawling, creeping sensation across my shoulders. This must be what claustrophobia is like. It reeks of smoke, but not the wholesome scent of wood smoke and some barbecues. The air leaves a metallic taste in my throat. I hope Officer Romano didn't forget to warn us about poisonous gases. He said the fire department gave the all clear, didn't he? Oh, this is the key art, I guess. Can I like hide this? Yeah, I guess I can. I'll save this in case. In case like this image comes handy. Jackie pulls out a flashlight and sweeps it around the debris. What a mess! The light lingers on a distorted human shape. It was a dressmaker's dummy once, or a mannequin with no arms. I'm sure once it displayed some slightly faded clothing for sale. Now the suit and the shadows make it look monstrous. Try not to touch anything. The residue might be mildly toxic. I can't really avoid touching anything, at least. I can't avoid touching her. Not and keep my footing. Well, I hope she's not like mildly toxic. Truthfully, I am glad that it's Jackie here with me, not some strange man. It would be inappropriate to hold on to anyone else like this. They might feel invited to take liberties. Yeah, well, she might be too, who knows? But probably not. Like, usually gays are pretty conscious about these things. Like, I'm kinda conscious, like I kinda sometimes even like avoided looking even at women, even though like I'm not the kind of person who get like lewd thoughts or anything too easily, but I don't know, somehow it's like it's hard to explain, but you have that like this nagging feeling like they wouldn't like it if they knew that I'm into women or something like that. Do you see anything you recognize? We have been here before, after all. If you look at what's changed, it might give us clues about what happened. I draw my attention away from Jackie and try to focus on what remains of the store and its contents. Not everything has burned away. I should be able to find some points for comparison. What did I look at last time? Well, like it was these, I guess. The magazines have burned. I can still make out the shapes of pages and bindings, but the content is gone. Everything inside those yellow covers is now solid black. They taught us in school that glossy paper had a different chemical composition, more clay or something, which means that it leaves more ash behind. Newsprint would flake away and vanish in the smoke. But what difference does it make? They may have left more trace of their passing, but they are still gone. Then like this. The jewelry in the center case is all jumbled up. Some items were made of wood or plastic. Those have burned away or melted and fused with each other. Stone beads were loose when poked. Now that the string which held them is gone, the green starburst amulet appears to have survived, but I don't see the rings. Even the solid metal ones that should be intact. Of course, they are small, they could be lost in all this junk. I realize I'm touching things I shouldn't and quickly wipe my fingers on my skirt. The filing cabinets don't look too badly damaged. They are scotched, but they might still be usable. Of course, since the drawers are closed, I can't see the contents and Jackie said I shouldn't touch anything with my bare hands. You're wearing gloves. Can you get any of these drawers open? Jackie tugs on one of the handles. Oh, interesting. They actually like you can actually do things instead of just watching. Well, I guess not. Not budging. Metal might have warped. Is it important? I could get a crowbar. No, it doesn't matter. I was wondering what happened to the things that were inside the cabinets. The trading cards, remember? Most likely they burned. It would have gotten pretty hot inside a metal cabinet. All those cards and binders, I don't even know what they were worth. Everything that was in or under the window is a lost cause. The jewelry that was on display here is missing completely. Possible that it was put away for the night when the shop closed. Otherwise, I don't know if it was destroyed in the blaze, ground to pieces underfoot, or stolen. The toy baskets are nothing but ashes now. There's nothing here for me to find. Up this one. The golden wire pyramid gleams among the other wreckage. Except for those unlucky enough to be crushed by falling debris, they seem to have weathered the fire fairly well. The little paper labels to tell you which stone represents which blessing are all gone. I wonder if one of them was a charm for fire resistance. Also didn't help the store. No, that's just silly. The bookshelf is a disaster that hurts to look at. Everything's gone, destroyed, and there's no way to bring it back. No, yeah, books don't like fire. I hate the whole concept of books being burned. Even when it's not censors trying to ban words, it's still knowledge and ideas being lost. We'll never know how much the progress of humanity was set back when the Library of Alexandria burned. Yeah, like when the church burned, like a lot of things, the medieval times or something, that they didn't like. I wish I had bought that alchemy book last time I was here, even though I didn't need it. I don't even want to imagine something like this happening to my books at home. What was the last one? Bookshelf under the window, crystal pyramids, debris in the floor. Oh, I guess I did that already. I'm pretty sure that was under the window. I did this pretty sure. This is a pyramid. It should probably be the floor. Oh, it's over there. The floor is littered with debris, most of which is unrecognizable. Only a few familiar colors catch my eyes. The blue glass Nazar or something charms, have fallen to the ground, either shattered or melted. I suppose they weren't such good luck after all. The terracotta flower pots are broken too. I can't tell if they were kicked and smashed or only cracked by the heat of the fire. They all look more or less alike now that any decorative paint has burned away. Shards of glass and pottery don't tell me anything else. Well, like for the most part, it looks like they just burnt this down and didn't like vandalize it in other ways. Like, you know, or like it's kind of hard to tell, but I would imagine like they didn't do something like, well, like this would definitely be on the floor, like if somebody had been like super angry and just been like, rummaging around and throwing things here and there. I like these two. So it seems that like it has just been burned. I think that's all I can work out from this scene right now. So pretty much nothing, I guess. I don't know what I should be looking for. Jackie sweeps her flashlight over the walls and floors, but it doesn't do any good. There's too much damage. If there are sigils thrown here, they have burnt or been covered up by garbage. If we could get the floor clear, we might be able to see the burn patterns. Don't you dare touch that junk with your bare hands. Do you want a tetanus shot? Oh, that is like, I guess, like vaccine or something. Burn patterns are something for the fire experts anyway. I know, but I feel like a failure. I can't find any new clues. The fire was pretty severe. Any trace might have been destroyed. That's not your fault. We brought you on board to interpret the wackadoo things we do find, not to pull clues out of thin air. I can't believe you just said wackadoo. It made you laugh. Yeah. Is it wrong to take comfort from the enemy? Let's get out of here before anything collapses. We head back out onto the street. Yeah, I don't think there is much you can really get. Like the missing letter is kind of weird because, well, these are a little damaged, I guess. Alright, ladies. More or less. Look, were there any witnesses to what went down last night? Haven't turned up any so far. We are appealing for information in the area. Alright, keep up the good work. She starts back to the car. With the news reporting this, any witnesses will probably call into the station. Not so up there. Well, not so up here, I guess. Romana will keep an eye out for anyone taking too much of an interest, especially teenagers. Are you still blaming? Well, you're the one who wanted to, like suspect the D&D players and such. Those aren't necessarily teenagers. Any teenagers, especially thrill seekers and trophy hunters who flock to the site of a crime scene. It's a common problem. Oh, hey, did you ever? We should get back to the station and find out if there have been any updates or new lab reports. Fine, don't answer me. The asking here is kinda awkward though. We climb into the car and pull the doors closed. Jackie sits there for a moment, her fingertips resting on the bottom of the wheel. She cussed. I went to see the site of a shooting once, but only to look from a distance. I didn't get in there or take anything. Oh. I wasn't really expecting an answer, especially not anything more detailed than a yes or no. I don't think I ever did anything like that. Well, no, you wouldn't. She takes a deep breath, then straightens up and starts the car. There's a chance that we may be taking off this case. What? With this level of escalation, even though no one's been hurt yet, There's clear risk to life. Suddenly it's not just a cute little mystery anymore. Well, I guess. And I'm only invited to cute mysteries, of course. So I hope I don't sound like I'm pressuring you, but we need to come up with some results quickly in order to prove to the captain that you're a valuable resource. Wait, you think I'm valuable? Of course you are. You know so many things I don't. I wouldn't have any idea what to do without you. In the case, I mean. I would never have figured out that cheesy thing. Vivi. Right? She gives a half smile. You know, you were always the brains of us. Back in college, you never saw how hard it was for me to keep up with you. I'm the one who makes stupid mistakes. Like cheating on me. Yeah, like that. She reaches over to the radio knob and switches it on. I look away. Maybe it was rude of me to bring it up, but no, it wasn't rude. It happened, and I don't want to pretend that it didn't. Yeah, I guess. Like, you can probably mention it like that. But if you get back together, you shouldn't use it as a weapon that you can pull out every time. Basically. But it's kinda tricky, I guess. Maybe in some level, you will be anxious about it. It would be good if you can still discuss it. But in some way that doesn't sound like it is being used as a weapon, I guess. The time when Jackie tore apart my world. A lot of flashbacks, I guess. We were living together in total privacy. We could be together all the time. It should have been perfect. And yet, we were together less and less. That's probably because Jackie was I'm not too good, and then went drinking and stuff. Jackie stopped wanting to go out much, at least not with me. She went out by herself all the time, that is the drinking part, I guess. We didn't have the same class schedule, but it was more than that. She was gone so often, it felt like she was avoiding me, and she would never say where she had been. Not that I asked, either, not very much. I didn't want her to feel pressured or controlled. I wanted to be the safe place for her to come back to, whatever happened. I tried to tell her once that if she had problems, I would always support her no matter what. All she had to do was ask. But she said nothing was wrong, that I shouldn't worry, that she'd take care of me, that she would make it right. Sometimes it was after midnight she would finally stumble home, smelling of beer and cigarettes. I didn't like either of those things, but I could live with them if I had to live with her. Still, I worried that she might be getting into harder drugs, things I wouldn't even know the names of. More alcohol itself can be already. Like if you use it too much, it is like pretty bad. I was afraid that something bad might happen and I wouldn't be able to save her. Then one night she never came home. I was panicked. I was frantic. I thought maybe she had been in an accident. I called the hospital. There were no matching victims. I called the campus police. They said it wasn't their job to keep track of students. I even called the real police and they told me you can't report an adult missing that quickly and that it was normal for college girls to stay over with their boyfriends. So what was I getting all worked up over? I wasn't out of my mind enough to tell them why I knew they were wrong. All I could do was pace and worry and stuff myself with sugar. Finally, the door opened and Jackie staggered in, still wearing the same clothes she had been the night before. She took one look at me and her face turned from green to grey. Well, no, neither of these is normal color, I guess. I was all over her. I didn't care how bad she smelled. Where have you been? Are you okay? I was so worried. But she stopped me. I need to tell you something, she said. I thought maybe she'd crashed a car or been in a fight. I would have forgiven anything, but she looked at me and all she said was, "It's over." I was shocked. I begged her to explain. What had I done wrong? How could I fix it? Stupid, wasn't I? Thinking that I could fix anything. But I was desperate. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't see what was right in front of me. But even then, I knew that I was teetering on the edge of the end. You didn't do anything, she said. I did. And that's when I couldn't lie to myself anymore. Her pulling away for months, our lack of interaction, all those late nights, the only reason I had missed it was that I didn't want to see it. Yeah, but why am I of the mindset that like if somebody like cheats on you or something, like it's not like your responsibility to find it out, and like it is better to be like clueless than to be like paranoid. Like if you start to be paranoid about these kind of things, like then the relationship will be over because of you. Like yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is naive, but that's what I think. Where were you last night? I finally asked. With Carol, she said. I didn't even know who Carol was. I couldn't think, I couldn't talk. It was like I had been closed up, trapped in a world without sound or color. I couldn't function, I just went numb. I stood there, frozen, with the heart torn out of me as she walked away. We didn't fight, we never fought. She just walked away from me, away from everything. Yeah, but I guess I can like see her feeling guilty about it and feeling like, oh, she is a failure because he ended up doing it. Maybe drunk or something, but like, yeah. Maybe she thinks that being drunk isn't an excuse, and well, it kinda isn't. But like, you could still talk about it. Like just walking away like that kinda isn't like the best way to break up. Like, yeah, discussing ban can be painful too, but it leaves less like questions and doubts about yourself than like just being dumped out of the blue, I guess. Yeah, tricky things. We return to the police department and seek out Captain Williams. Hello ladies. Got a few new reports in for you. Witnesses to the Lucky Penny fire. We are not that lucky. Neither was the store, huh? Yeah, I guess. I gave him the smile he's looking for. Bad jokes, another part of the required professional manners. I would imagine that they might actually be like, it is kinda like a way to escape like the cruelty and like to process them, I guess. No, the fingerprint team got a good clear lift of that rum bottle from the shed. Nice. We haven't spotted any matches running through the usual suspects. No match on that kid with the graffiti record whose folder you pulled either. So I was right, and Eduardo isn't arsonist, thank goodness. Well, could have worn clothes though. But if you come up with any other targets, we have got something to compare to now. Actually, something that I'm wondering about this fingerprinting is that like, let's say that like you work in the store that sells the booze, and like, well, you put the bottles like on display. Like, wouldn't your fingerprints be there too? So like, if you have basically been like fingerprinted for some reason and you work in a store, like, you would be like suspected for everything basically. At least like everything your customers have done. And like, well, if they leave bottles behind, but I guess they usually don't. The fact that the culprit left the bottle in this case is kinda weird too. He also got a preliminary analysis of that black powder on the set floor. So far, it looks like it's just iron filings. Iron. Everyone looks at me. Ogon, the god I told you about, he's also the god of iron, so that fits. He is the god of war and rum and fire and iron. And blacksmiths and soldiers, I told you, he's very masculine. Yeah, I guess like basically, like, if the card is about weapons, then it makes sense that it is like war and iron and fire. Like the blacksmith part is like kinda related to all of those, like blacksmith is like heat the metal in the forge thingy that is basically fire. Soldiers are who buy the weapons. So everything at the scene matches. Does that mean you have a lead? Not a lead to an individual person at the moment, but I'm seeing some consistent patterns emerging. Well, you have a lead to a god or something, but you can't arrest a god. Unless it's like a JRPG or something. We also sent a team over to talk to the Spears girls. The ones telling the story about being kidnapped. Oh yeah. It's pretty strange. They claim they were dragged out into the woods by cultists who whipped them to make them dance. Well, these girls sure have fantasies. Satanists with whips burning cats, just the sort of thing a morbid teenager might imagine. It's not real. They got hit by something, alright? We took pictures of the injuries. He offers Jackie a folder. Still, the story is obviously a lie. Probably some kind of teenage hijinks gone wrong. Yeah, like maybe they were into like whipping each other, had like that kind of wild fun at night, and then used this thing as an excuse when their parents found out. So probably, like if they are like related, then it doesn't make sense, I guess. Casey told me once there was this fad at school to kick balls at each other as hard as possible and see who flinched. Could be something like that. Never know with kids, huh? Yeah, I guess. Like some weird kids were like, like you try to like when like there's a road and a car is coming, like you like run in front of it or something like that. Like, well, something like Darwin would be proud of pretty much. Like I think somebody got hurt but nobody died at least, but yeah, I don't do that. Well, kicking a ball is like harmless compared to that, I guess. But yeah, like sometimes like teenagers are the kind of people who like ride a bicycle and like put the stick like between or like into the wheel themselves and then flip over, like that meme thingy. But that I guess happens for real. Some people are just like that. I never understood it, but oh well. I was always just like toying with computers or stuff instead. And yeah, definitely better way than getting hurt for no reason. She flips the folder open. Wait, Marianne and Spears. Those names are familiar. Those are the girls Alex Mitchell mentioned, aren't they? The ones whose books got burned? Or maybe they are just salty about that. What's this? Book burning, disapproving parents. It didn't seem relevant. It was just ordinary pop culture books. Nothing to do with witchcraft that we knew of. But maybe it was more than that. Well, maybe they are just salty, like it sounds likely. Yeah, sounds like we need to talk to these girls. She turns some pages. Don't suppose anyone got their fingerprints? We were treating them as witnesses, not suspects. You'll need more to go on if you want to change that. You could be like sneaky in some way and get the fingerprints in a sneaky way. Like you go like yo, hold this bottle for me or something, and then take it back and then bring it to the lab. Probably not like the police way of doing things, but technically. He taps the page Jackie is looking at. It was the father who called in the initial report late last night, but they are at the mother's house now. Ongoing divorce. Yeah, that is a lot of drama. So, well, more than a few things being salty about. Like maybe the mother like disapproved of like burning the books basically. Or like maybe like one of the parents like spanked the kids and then forced the kids to like give some kind of like weird witness report. Kinda seems like a way to like just pull more suspicion into them. Well, like obviously like if your kids get like scars or something as well, I guess believe the parents are getting divorced and like if like violence or something is involved, like that is kinda telling, so you probably wouldn't call the cops yourself. Or maybe it was like the children were about to call the cops and then the parents were like, yeah, I'm calling a lying. But yeah, this is a lot of blaming for like no evidence, but well, just thinking out loud. Which could be a motivation for troubled girls to act out. Yeah, and burning their books part 2. So you'll want this address here. Thanks, Captain. We'll get right on it. Let me get a drink of water first. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll do that too. Mwah. Okay. I can sense this is going to be a long day. We climb back into Jackie's car and I reach for the map. Wait just a second. What is it? Before we rush off, I wanted to pick your brains a little about where you think this is all going. Well, like the teenagers are obviously salty. And like, Wade is probably just some pyromaniac that he has like, but there wasn't like any. Oh, well, like, well, I guess you don't know because the store was really burnt, but there weren't like any obvious evidence about like it being like the same, about the same guy interviewed cult or something. But yeah, the yoga thing and stuff like that still puzzle me. Like I can see the connections in this head case, but not really the other ones. And like if it's a pyromaniac, then but the campfire I guess makes sense. Like that could be the same person, but I kinda doubt the graffiti is by the same person. Like a pyromaniac wouldn't do that, like they would just set fires. And like maybe you get kicks out of like doing like weird symbols and rituals and stuff like that, but just painting the picture and then leaving like on the window, that doesn't really make sense unless like somebody was like coming and the person had to flee then. But like even then though, well, I guess there doesn't need to be like connections to fire at first. Like maybe the pyromaniac is like just dabbling into these myth thingies, and it was first like, yeah, I only know like yoga, so let's go for that. And then they find like some fancier themes and pick up those. Well, I don't want to be so busy following random crumbs that we miss an obvious direction of investigation. But I don't know. We don't have enough evidence. Of course, you don't know, but you're my profiler. What makes sense to you right now? Her profiler, am I? Well, she did say I was supposed to be the smart one. Ideas are more my thing than hers. Do I have an idea? I think back over the scenes I have examined. The duck skeleton campfire with the chakra symbols, the blood-based hand on the shop window, topped with alchemy symbols, the burning shed with the invocation of Ogon, the wreck of the lucky penny. I think our culprit is... I don't know, like if I really need to save this, but I will do it. I would imagine like if all of these are connected, if it's just one person, like I don't think like teenagers would go like like out of their limb to like do like really detailed like invocations or stuff like that. Like they would probably be more like if it's a group of teenagers, like yo, let's just burn this down. These crimes take place late at night in different locations around the city. It's difficult for kids to get around that much. Lots of teens have cars, or friends that do. But don't their parents know where they are? Someone's usually keeping track of kids, even if they claim they were staying with friends. Obviously, it's not impossible for teens to run pretty wild, but it makes it harder, especially when there's a big story in the news. Also, look at the tools that have been used. Hold that duck, garden fertilizer. Those aren't things teenagers buy. Wouldn't someone have found that odd? Or the bottle of rum. Kids couldn't buy that at all. Fake ID or stolen from the family liquor cabinet. Wouldn't their parents notice? Depends on how often they drink. I shake my head. It's all too planned. These acts aren't random. They have a purpose. That sounds like an adult to me. Someone wants something specific and they are trying to get it. The culprit is probably... well, like... unless somebody wants to become like Super Mako as a woman and like get in the blacksmithy and wars and stuff like that. like, you know, like all the symbolism about the god being Mako kinda would make sense here. Destructive crimes like this are much more commonly carried out by males, right? Yeah, Arson particularly tends to be very male. Masculine energy, that's what we saw with the invocation of Agon too. Obviously, there are women who are into camping and so on, but it's more common with men. The motivation behind the fires... yeah, I don't know, like, like this is pretty hard to tell. Sex and power. Why it would be sex and power though? Like the duck burned in the campfire, like, why would you purify a duck basically? And why would you purify like the shed or the store basically? Like purification sounds really odd. Like especially with the Ogon god thingy being about. The power would make sense in that sense. And like I guess sex makes sense as in, you know, sex as in like wanting to feel Mako basically. Like I don't know about the sex part, but the power part probably might make sense. Like somebody well sets all these fires and then feels that they are powerful because they destroy things. Like destruction is also a thing, but like is the destruction like the reason? Like the reason is probably more like the thrill of doing it, or the thrill of having power, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't need to save because I saved just earlier. Let's try this. Creating fire, watching things burn, these give the criminal a sense of power and control, of being able to make a mark on the world. That could also be related to sexual potency. With the invocation of Ogon, maybe someone wants to feel more like a man, but what will it take for them to be satisfied? Not much with some men. Sorry. It's most likely that we are looking for yeah, this is kinda hard to say. Like it feels that the graffiti on the window doesn't like fit this picture, but others do. Like it is kinda hard to tell like if there is actually like a well, if it is basically two people working together or something. Like a single culprit would be his answer, I guess, but nothing really stops you from like doing the invocation thingies by yourself. Like you had the whole night to do it, I guess. And graffiti is probably just one person, most likely. But yeah, I don't think the graffiti fits the picture. Like it could if like the culprit was chased away first or something. But it is like this part is really hard to tell really. Like in some level I feel that it would be more than one. And like well, like I guess the occult thing is that something that they have in common. But I don't know, like I don't know. I'll try this, but it is probably wrong. Like these are all kinda equally likely. These crime scenes don't match up. What if they don't all have the same goal or the same perpetrator? One of them could be a copycat or coincidence throwing us off course. The shop vandalism didn't even involve a fire, at least not at first. We could be working on more than one case. Now the vandalism part is what feels weird to me too. Like all the others involve fire, but that it doesn't. I tug at my sleeves. All of this is only theories though. It's the truth that matters, not what we guess might have happened. I guess the game is basically saying that these questions are basically something that like the choices are something that it doesn't matter like what you pick, but they are there to like make you think, I guess. And I guess it worked. We can't reach conclusions unless we know what actually happened. Yeah. The silence stretches for a moment. There's nothing else for me to say about the case. And outside of the case, there's nothing left to say. Yeah. So, where are we going? I pick up the map. We pull up outside this bear's house. The game is like cleverly like reusing the backgrounds because these kind of things are a ton of work to draw. And the game has quite a few locations, so it makes sense. Well, the mother's house at least. Suppose they are both the Spear's house, really. Divorce must be very difficult for everyone, especially the children. The home itself looks tidy and well kept, at least from the front. Marigolds bloom in the flower beds with stubborn cheerfulness, smiling up at the sun. Jackie doesn't waste her time admiring the flowers. She marches up and knocks on the door. The woman who answers doesn't look entirely happy to see us. Good morning, ma'am. Are you reporters? No, ma'am. We are with the police department. She pulls out her credentials. I'm Jackie Morales, and this is Diana Carter. Are you Miss Elise Spears? For the moment. She twists the ring around her finger. We'd like to speak with Anna Mary. I'm not making my girls trip for another bunch of cops. I don't care if you're women. You got all you need for your kicks. Now leave us alone. Man, we don't need them to take their clothes off. We are not that kind of specialists. At least this is a very important case. There may be lives at stake. We have to stop whoever's responsible for this. You don't look like a cop. I'm not, I'm a substitute teacher. I don't normally think of teacher as my identity. I'm a writer. Teaching is a supplement. However, considering the issue that this family apparently had with fantasy novels, I really don't want to bring up my true calling. Mrs. Pierce looked me up and down. You here to make them feel more comfortable? Well, I'd like to hope so. If something bad happened to those girls, I'd certainly like to make them feel comfortable enough to trust me. If they are the perpetrators, well, I still hope they'll trust me enough to sort all this out before it's too late. Alright, I'll let you in. Thank you very much, ma'am. She almost sounded like Elvis for a moment there, but I can't risk a smile. I don't want to offend this woman now. Yeah, I have no idea like this. I know this Elvis guy existed because my mom was a big fan. But beyond that and the haircut and stuff, like, I don't really know. Mrs. Pierce guides us in and knocks on the girls' bedroom door, then ushers us inside. I guess like this is kinda also like what makes you think that, yeah, maybe the mom was also like into burning the books. It's a shockingly tidy room with two teenage girls. The whole house, or what we saw of it, looked freshly cleaned, so I'm not surprised that the floor is free of dust, but there's something off about it. The room doesn't feel simply clean, it feels empty. Even a Cultists dorm room, when the occupants have just moved in, has more personality. Yeah, well. And like, yeah, wouldn't like to be his kids. Especially when the occupants have just moved in and haven't figured out where to put their suitcases yet. The girls are seated together on the bottom bunk bed, close enough to whisper in each other's ears. I like the shadows. It makes it feel creepy. At sight of their mother, they rise to their feet. Even genetically identical twins have differences. When you know them well, scars, moles, carrots, things they develop for themselves, but the strangers, dressed alike, they might as well be dolls out of a mold. Yeah, it is kind of like the creepy kind of doll look, in a way. I didn't look at the file folders, so I don't know the details. I expected them to be the same age as Eduardo and Alex. Those straight cut bangs feel more common on younger girls. Neither girl wears makeup or jewelry, and the baggy t-shirts hide any sign of body development. Their injuries might make tighter clothing uncomfortable at the moment. If they have been beaten, I don't see any obvious bruises or welts, or any sign of medical treatment beyond one tiny bandage on one girl's arm, so they must be covered by the shirts. Girls, these ladies want to talk to you about what happened the other night. Remember that you don't have to say anything that you don't want to, and you can call me at any point if you need me. Be good now. Did she mean that for us or for them? After her defensive reaction when we first arrived, I'm surprised Mrs. Spears is leaving us alone with the girls. I would have thought she'd stay to supervise, even if that would make it more difficult for us to get answers. She's trusting us not to bully the girls into foolish confessions, and sometimes, in some police forces, that would be a terrible mistake. I'm sure Jackie wants to find the truth, not an easy false answer. But she can also get fixated on wrong ideas. It's my responsibility to protect these children, even from her. Mrs. Pierce closes the door. It's up just now. Good morning. Which of you is? I'm Anne. She's Mary. ... Are you really police? I thought they said they were done this morning. Are you the FBI? Do you get the black cars with the tinted windows? No, we are not feds. The team you spoke to earlier was a general evidence squad. We are investigators on a particular case. The explanation doesn't appear to have satisfied them. The girls exchange glances and say nothing. I'm a special expert in magical folklore and cultural practices. I studied that in college. Really? You can get a degree in that? That would be cool. Anne twitches her nose and Mary stops talking. I don't believe in psychic powers, but I do believe that twins can come to understand each other well enough that they can communicate without speaking. If they keep up a united front, that could make questioning them tricky. But questioning people isn't really what I'm good at. I'm more of a listener. I sit back and look at Jackie. Why don't you tell us about what happened the night before last? They look at each other. We snuck out of the house to meet up with some friends, which was very naughty of us. And then when was this? It was after curfew, which is why it's bad. Was it after midnight? No. At the curfew, but before midnight, it was around 11. Alright, so you went to meet your friends. Did you take your dad's car? That's right, they were staying with their father the night all this happened. No, we were on foot. You were going to meet them in your neighborhood, right? And then we got kidnapped. Yes, sure. There were a bunch of people wearing black, and they took hold of us by force and put us into the back of their van. Well, that sounds more like it's not just to make them dance and whip them down. That sounds something different. So you went to the meeting point that night. People found you there. Were they your friends? No. They were strangers. How many people were there? More than 5, not as many as 10. 8 maybe. They were all in the van and there were some in the back to hold us still. Sounds kinda sus. And they drove us out to the woods And there were more people there wearing robes, but we couldn't tell how many because it was dark. Yes, surely it wasn't dark when the city was burning. And the people in the van took their belts off and they started hitting us. They put on ropes too. Then they set the sack on fire and they made us run around it in circles. Yeah, this is really sus. Dance around it in circles. Yeah. Dance around it, and we had to yell, "Hail Satan," or they'd hit us again. And they had this black cat in a cage, and they threw it into the fire. We could hear it screaming. And we cried, but they wouldn't let us stop until after midnight. Then they pushed us back into the van and drove away and dropped us off near Dad's house, so we went home. Very convenient. Very, very convenient. Like, yeah, don't even get me started, like how many things are wrong with this. Like, even if you don't know, like, the organ summoning thingy. Did you recognize any of these people? Were they men or women? We couldn't see, it was dark. And they wore hoods. And they didn't talk to us except when they were yelling at us and hitting us, and then they were behind us so we couldn't see them. If you couldn't see any of them, how do you know it wasn't your friends playing a prank on you? What friends? Once you were meeting. Our friends would never do such awful things. Only a monster would. It feels like they don't have friends. Like maybe their parents are too protective. Right? Witches are bad. Even in the dark, I can be sure it wasn't anyone we knew. It was bad people. Well, I can see why the police weren't paying a lot of attention to this story when they first told it. It's not very believable. Did you fall down a lot while you were dancing? Fall down? Well, it was raining that night, in the dark, in the woods, in the mud. And they were hitting us, so we fell down a lot. Your clothes must have been filthy. Yes, but we left our laundry at Dad's, so we don't have them now. Did he catch you coming in? No, we snuck in, and we didn't tell him anything. It was very inappropriate of us. We should have trusted and respected our elders. Yeah, we respect the elder. Oh, I guess it was more like we remember the elder. We didn't say anything until we saw the story on the news. Then we told him what happened to us and he called the police. He must have been very angry to find out that you had snuck off. Yes. But he was more worried about what could have happened and glad that we were safe. He only wants to protect us. Yes, surely the dad wouldn't take off his belt and like slap them a little bit with that. That's right. They both note in unison. I see. Why don't you think about the story a bit and consider how much it doesn't add up? Huh? Jackie looks at me with raised eyebrow. Am I supposed to play good cop now? I don't know anything about interrogations. What does he expect me to do? If they were too upset to talk to us at all, I could tell them stories to help them relax and open up a little. But these two are talking to us. They are just not telling us the truth. Demanding that the child admits a lie really helps. That just makes them dig in their heels. When getting caught means punishment, they'll deny it as long as they can, long past the point of reason. It's better to confront them with the truth and proceed from there. But when small children lie, the truth is usually easy to spot. These girls aren't small children, and I have no idea what they are thinking. Is this a story made up for attention or to protect themselves or someone else? Probably the dad, I guess. If what they want is attention, they'll say anything they think will keep our interest. They might even pretend to be reluctant in order to make us pry the story out of them, but it wouldn't get us any closer to the truth. Yeah, like maybe the dad is the pyromaniac. Like then the dad could go out and set the shed on fire and then find that the girls aren't home, and then they come home like, well, bang bang with the belt. If they are lying in order to protect someone, well, who and why? And how is protecting someone connected to our case? Could these girls have set the fire or know the people who did? Depending on just why they are fibbing, they could either be wasting our time completely or be the most crucial clue we'll ever find. I'm really not a detective. I was supposed to be looking at pictures for mystic signs. But is there anything I can see in this room that might give me some clues about the twins and their motivations? Well, this is kinda a good timing for this. But this is surely like the most suspicious thing. Alright, let's see. Room, windows, desks, posters, ornament, bookshelf, beds. Basically like nothing. Like none of those are guaranteed to give us anything. In a room with little decorations, one unusual item does stand out. Is that the broom? They look at me like they are afraid I'm losing my marbles. I mean, do you use it to clean your room with? From the expressions, that question sounded even every bit as foolish. It's an odd thing though. Too large to be a whisk broom, too short for an ordinary one. Why would they keep a broom hanging on the wall or as a decoration or something? It's very nice. We got it on vacation. Yes, it was from handcraft shop in the Ozarks. No idea where that is. Oh, I have never been there. I usually go east to the Appalachians for a mountain trip. I can picture the kind of stores she's talking about though. With honey straws and stick candy and hand-thrown pottery. I know this is in the US, right? Straw brooms were invented in America. Really? There's a long tradition of how they are made. They represent diligence and a virtuous lifestyle. I guess it makes sense then that they have it. They are definitely not magical. This girl is more into magic things, I guess. Okay. I look around the room and finally recognize one reason why it feels wrong. What happened to the curtains in your windows? We never needed curtains. We never had curtains, but sunlight would come right in. That helps make sure we get out of bed in the morning. But at night, if your lights are on, the whole world can see into your room. That's more reason to turn off the lights and go to bed. But your privacy, aren't you worried someone will see you changing clothes? We get changed in the bathroom after brushing our teeth. I suppose that would work. It's just a bit different like they are. Mom says we can pick out curtains now, so we are going to have them later. I want them to be blue like. She didn't ask that. Sorry. You don't need to be sorry. I'm here to talk to you. You can say whatever you're thinking. Or not. Two wooden lectern desks stand along the wall, identical but separate. Each has enough room for one book, one chair, and one small candle perched along the narrow flat top. The slanted wooden surface is hinged at the top, so it can't be lifted to reveal storage underneath. Perhaps the twins keep more personal items there, or at least pens and pencils. Still, the whole setup looks less comfortable than my own desk at home. Yeah, it kinda looks awkward. Can you even fit like your feet like under this thing? Like how are you supposed to sit on it? Or like go at it or something? Do you do your homework here on these desks? Sometimes. Mostly we use the big table in the kitchen as long as we can be done before dinner. These are for reading. Oh, you like to read? Yes. Reading is fundamental to education. Well, that's true, but it's also fun. Should I tell them I'm a writer? No, it's too much of a sidetrack. Besides, I don't want to talk about my books in front of Jackie. I work as a substitute teacher sometimes. Are you good students? And gets better grades. You would do just as well if you paid more attention. Right, I know. She daydreams too much. They seem very diligent and organized, tidy too, from the look of their room. So, neither of you are troublemakers at school? Of course not. Well, you could try to press them out about the fantasy books. The walls of this bedroom are plain and white, no colorful paint, almost no decorations. Many girls their age would be covering their walls with pullover posters from 17 or Tiger Beat. At least, it seems that way in the movies. I never did anything like that until I moved out from under my parents' roof. Decorations were their decision, not mine. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. I remember when Jackie and I lived together, we argued about whether or not it would be wrong to have a picture of a pretty girl on the wall of our, but that's not important right now. There are no teen heartthrobs smiling at these girls. The only poster on the wall is one I recognize as a giveaway from Tiger State University, featuring the women's volleyball team in their blue uniforms. I don't think that team's ever been national champions. It must have some personal meaning for the twins. Maybe they know someone on the team, or maybe it's aspirational. Are you two planning to go to state when you graduate? Yeah, a friend of us goes there. And it's local, so we can still see our mom. She doesn't mention seeing her father. Would you want to live at home while attending classes? It saves a lot of money, but you'll miss out on experiences if you're not part of campus life. The girls exchange confused expressions. We haven't decided. Well, you don't need to have everything decided yet. You could even do a little of both if you wanted. Both? You don't have to live in the same arrangement every year. You could do a year in the dorms and then a year at home. Or one of you could live in the dorms and one at home, and you could trade places. Just one of us. I suppose they have always shared a bedroom, so being apart is hard to imagine. Well, it would be up to the two of you to decide. ... They are not used to making decisions, aren't they? Well, I guess the parents make all of them. And that's kind of how it sounds. Oh, I guess beds was one. The twins apparently sleep in bunk beds. More common for young children than teenagers. Though some college students stack their beds together in order to get more floor space. They have to be careful not to bang their heads though. The beds themselves look more or less identical except for the stuffed animals. Both beds are neatly made, but one holds a teddy bear and the other a floppy-eared rabbit. The rabbit is actually neat. That kind of a stuffed animal would be nice. I can't guess which bed belongs to which. Well, this probably belongs to the red girl. Probably. It must be nice to have a sister. You're never alone. My cousin and I used to pretend we were sisters when we had sleepovers. We'd stay up all night whispering to each other and make up secret code words, confuse our parents. Anne looks disbelieving, but Mary giggles. Does it get difficult sometimes though? Not having time apart from each other? We don't need time apart. We share everything. It would probably be easier to get to the bottom of their story if we could talk to just one of them alone, but that's not going to happen. Austere as the room is, it does at least contain a sizable bookcase, not a cheap one either, but a solid piece of furniture with glass doors. However, once I look past the reflections on the glass, I notice that the shelves are mostly empty. It's a nice bookcase, but where are the books? If the rumors we heard yesterday are correct, there is a story behind that, but we don't know that for certain. What is actually useful information for a change. About the other things also kinda like paint a picture of like the personality of these girls. Like the red one being like, well, more openly excited about things, and the blue one trying to be quiet about everything. You don't have very many books on yourself. Where did they go? She stops and looks at her sister. Dad took away our books. Also, they are in your room at your father's house. Neither girl volunteers anything. This might be important, but I don't want to press too hard while I'm still gathering evidence. Look back at the shelves. There are 2 ceramic piggy banks, both the same size and shape, both perfectly white and shiny, with no way to tell them apart. Oh, those are piggy banks, I didn't realize it. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter, like maybe they are given like the equal amount of money and like every time, and then the parents are like, alright, this is your money, now stuff it in the piggy bank or else. Whose piggy bank is whose? The girls look at each other. They are both ours. They are both of ours. Is that where you keep your allowances? We don't get allowances. Oh, I see, that's... Well, I guess that's why it doesn't really matter. We get money on our birthdays. As many dollars as we are old. Very generous. And that goes in the banks. When we graduate, we are allowed to break them open. Yeah, like, I don't know, like... Nah, too lazy to calculate, but it is probably less than $100, so... Well, not going to hope too much. Even like inflation and everything taken into account. I'm not good enough at math to work out in my head, but I don't think that would add up to very much. Yeah, it definitely doesn't. Well, probably enough for some nice new clothes and a celebration, but not enough for a college or a car or anything important. Like 100% not like it. Probably couldn't even live a month with that much or that little money. But I guess it's times 2, I guess, but still. But if that's the only way they get money in their banks, then it really doesn't matter who owns which pig. They are the same age, half of that belongs to each of them, no matter which pig it is. Is that sweet or sad? Well, probably kinda sad. What was the last one? I suppose the ornaments. What is ornaments even? Room windows, desks, poster is probably the one behind this one. What is the ornament then? That's not an ornament though, that is the globe. The dresser top is mostly bare and tidy, like the rest of the room. There's one wooden trinket box which appears to be filled with barrettes and hair bubbles. I can't see any dividing line down the middle, so I suppose all the decorations are shared equally. The only other object on display is a porcelain disc ornament hanging from a metal half-moon stand. Oh, I guess it's not a globe then, but it looks like that though. The large disc is painted with an image of Jesus in robes protectively cradling a lamb. Oh, yikesy. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I look up at the cross on the wall, then turn to the girls. Are you very religious? Yes. No. They look at each other. We are not very religious. We follow Christ and we attend church, but we are not as devout as we should be. Interesting that the blue girl is telling this. We know people who are very religious. We aren't. I'm very religious. I want to become a preacher. Probably preacher, but well, except our church doesn't have women preachers. And then I wanted to be a nun, except they don't have those either. Well, that is unfortunate. And I wanted to be Joan of Arc. Oh, that your parents definitely won't agree with that. Like that's religious in probably a wrong way. You just want to smile. You just want to be seen doing good, which isn't the same as actually being good. You know we have sinned. Yeah. I can't see anything else in the room worth talking about, but Jackie is still staring off into space, visibly ignoring us, so I suppose I have to keep going somehow. I look back at the twins and they look at me. What's going on in their minds? They seem too well behaved for young delinquents. But there's a sense of isolation here. I can imagine them being lonely enough to make up all sorts of stories. Yeah, like something is definitely fishy about this. So yeah, the whole part about being kidnapped is like 100% lie. Like, oh, they wouldn't be back home if that had happened. Like, no way, like some random cultists would like return two girls back home on their dad's doorstep even. That's not going to happen. But somebody, I guess, spanked him with the belt. So that is a thing. And I guess they don't like their dad, so that is kinda telling. Especially as imaginative readers whose books have been taken away, two little girls in bunk beds whispering ideas to each other in the night. Yeah, I'm being salty about the books. So like, if you live like this kind of life, your parents like control like all aspects of your life? Like, do you even know like how to be salty? I guess you would though. Like, I was a really good girl, and I still kinda knew how to be salty. But you should definitely know, like, I don't know, like, what level of brainwashing it would take to change that. Like, maybe they are just like, well, good at keeping a poker face because that keeps them from getting into trouble, but they definitely do have feelings, and they would be 100% salty about the books being taken away. It is a question though, like, where did they get the books? But then one twin shifts position, and I am reminded that there is other evidence beyond the story they have been telling. Do you girls need to sit down? I know you're injured. I don't want to cause you any extra pain. You'll be fine. Are you sure? If you push yourself too hard, you'll slow down your healing. We'll be fine in a day or so. We always are. Okay. Always. Yikesy. And now at last, Jackie raises her head and takes an interest. So just how often are you kidnapped and beaten by satanic cultists? No, that's not what happened. That's not what she said. But it's truth, isn't it? It never happened. You weren't kidnapped by cultists. There were witches, and they... So how often have you been beaten by witches? ... There weren't witches. You snuck out at night to meet your friends, people who knew exactly where you were and how to find you. There weren't any strangers in the van. You're wrong. The girl said they snuck out at night to a meeting spot where they got picked up. It would have to be their friends or someone their friends sent. Who else would stumble across these girls at that exact time and place? But the girls got hurt somehow, and apparently it's not the first time. What are their friends doing to them? Is that who they are protecting? Oh, that's kinda different angle that I would expect though. These friends of yours, who are they? What? Who were you meeting that night? Just some people. Boys from school? Sure. Can you tell us their names? I hope it wasn't Eduardo and Alex. Why? Well, if there were cultists kidnapping people from the street that night, something bad might have happened to your friends too. We need to talk to them. But we can't. You snuck out to meet your friends and party. That's how you got hurt, wasn't it? We didn't meet any friends. We got whipped because we are witches. You're witches. Who whipped you? Oh, the dad, obviously. Is that Jackie Jackie softens her approach. We are not here to hurt or punish you. We only want to know what happened and be sure that you're safe. We know that things didn't happen the way you said they did. There were no dancers in the woods, there were no Satanists, there was no cat being burned. We know because we have been there. None of that happened. It was just a shack that caught fire on a rainy night. But then you said, that's where you got the idea from the news. ... Why don't you tell us what really happened to you? Mary takes her twin's hand. Do you think? I don't know. Jackie speaks slowly and carefully. Girls, did either of you set those fires? No. We weren't there, like you said. Then you're not in trouble. Tell us what happened that night. Why did you sneak out? We didn't. We never snuck out. We had never left. We had never been outside after curfew. But you confessed it to your father, to the police. That made us say that we did it. Alright, that is pretty much what I expected. Yeah. ... That's unexpected. Why would a man pressure his own daughters into making a false confession of a crime they had nothing to do with? Well, calling the cops part is kinda weird, like you wouldn't call the cops if you're involved with the fire. But like, well, the dad hitting them with the belt isn't unexpected at all. Was he trying to cover up for something? You were staying at your father's house that night. Was he home all night? Why wouldn't he be? I don't want to frighten them. If they think their father is in trouble, they might lie again to protect him. I'm just asking if he stayed out late, or if you heard him leave at some point, or if he was there in the morning. He was there when we woke up, but he wouldn't stay out late. He's very strict about bedtimes. When is your bedtime? Like 8 PM or something? 9:30. Well, that's not so bad. Kinda still, though. I hope they are like morning people, because otherwise it's going to be rough. That's a little early for their age, but not out of line for a strict family. So he went to bed early and slept the whole night through, never waking up. That means you can't be completely certain he never left. I guess, but why would he? Why is a good question. Why did he tell you to talk to the police? Because it was our fault for letting the devil in. What? The fire? It was on the news. We saw it on the TV when we were having dinner, and they said we just did it. That said, we needed a reminder of what happened to witches, so he hit us with his belt. Then he cried. Okay, so that kinda makes sense. Then like the dad would be the culprit of at least like the fire of the shack. And we cried. Jackie's face is blank, though I'm sure she finds this revelation upsetting. I suppose I should have guessed this as soon as they mentioned belts. There are far too many parents here who believe in spare the rod and spoil the child. Yep, pretty much what I expected. Then he made us call the police and tell them that this was all the fault of Satan's witches. so that we wouldn't forget. It was witches, it had to be, the news said so. Witches are real. Still, after taking a strap to his daughters, to then call the police and force them to report the story about witches, even for a strict parent who believes in corporal punishment, this isn't normal. Does your father get angry like that a lot about witches or monsters or things you can't see? Yeah, and does your father drink rum? It's our fault, we upset him. He didn't know we were witches before. Why did you say that you're witches? Because we are. Because we have been tempted away from God's light and we tempt others. How were you tempted? Well, the fantasy books, I guess. It was the books. He didn't like you reading. We were always allowed to read, not just our Bibles and our school books and serendipity and childcraft. We got books at every fair. What is like childcraft? Like, is that like Minecraft but like an older version? Younger version, I mean. Well, I guess like depends on like, well, if you think of like the age of the game, but like no. Television is bad for your mind, but that is true. Kinda, at least too much of it. We had to go over to other people's houses if we wanted to watch movies. We always had books. Then Mom and Dad started to fight a lot, so we stayed in our room and talked about books all the time. And then we wanted more, different kind of books. Oh, you. Books we knew our parents wouldn't approve of. And one day, Dad found out what we were reading and he got really mad. And he burned your books. Is that like the campfire incident? But why the duck though? How did you know that? I'm a really good guesser. And well, I had known some other families that had problems when their church denounced activities as ungodly and size. He caught Mary reading Firestarter. It wasn't even ours. But he saw the cover and got really upset. The cover's really spooky. It's got these big eyes staring at you out of the white and flames coming up over the face because the girl's got like psychic powers. It's Millie's favorite book. But when he saw it, he got upset. And then he wanted to look at all of our other books, including all the fantasies Millie loaned us. Oh, poor Millie. And he said they were the work of the devil. And that must be how the devil got into our house and ruined everything. Yes, sir. Sure, Dad. And so he burnt them. Even the books that had nothing to do with witchcraft, because temptation opens the door to sin. She likes romance novels, and the heroes don't wear any shirts, and the women wear these dresses that are very low cut, and Dad said that was, porn. Yeah, well, the dad got up really easily, I guess. So he burned all the books and gave us a whipping and told us we were never allowed to speak to Millie again. Poor Millie. Poor them too, but also Millie. Does he take his belt to you a lot? Oh, I guess they are living in the Bible Belt or something. Ha ha ha. Things have been better since he moved to his own house. The news story made him upset about missing Mom. That's all. These poor girls. Tell us about Millie. She's a friend of yours, a relative, a teacher. What's her last name? Millie Cassibry. She was at our school, but she graduated, so we don't see her anymore. And she was mad that we lost her books. Mary shifts her place, looking uncomfortable. We probably need to wrap this up soon before their mother comes to rescue the girls from us. Do you know a boy named Alex Mitchell or Eduardo Grass? They go to our school, but we don't really know them. We aren't allowed to be alone with boys. Do you know of anyone who might actually be interested in witchcraft or paganism? Any rumors at school? Millie was the witchiest person we knew. She had lots of books. Yeah, sure. Would be kinda twist if it was Millie all along. But I don't know. Like, Daddy is the most suspicious person so far. Like, if he's the kind of person who like takes the belt on the girls for like smallest reason, like that isn't probably too big of a jump to just burn down buildings and stuff. Like maybe the buildings have like like a connection of some kind. I wonder like this is just a couple of days like between these events, right? So like maybe the campfire is like the book burning incident. It's just like made to look like the act of witches so that they will get the lesson, basically. Something like that. Beyond books, anyone who wanted to be a witch in real life. Aha. Well, if Millie found a way to be a real witch, she would definitely take it. Jackie sighs. All this, and we haven't learned anything about our case at all. These girls have problems and they need help, but they don't know anything about the fires. Oh, I kinda wonder if they do. Like, they don't probably know it, but the dad needs to be like arrested for one reason or the other. Like, I don't know like how it goes in the US, but like here in Finland, like it was the 80s when like beating your children became a crime, I guess, something like that. But I would assume that, well, it probably is like state basis and the worst states will probably allow it really longer even now. Hopefully not even now, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Like even here, like there are like, you know, like the conservatives and the right-wing politicians are always like you know, like children need like order and need to be kept at bay and stuff like that, which is kinda like low-key way to say that. Yeah, you need to treat your children roughly or otherwise they won't learn or something like that. Still, there's something I have to say before we leave. You know that none of this is your fault, right? You didn't do anything wrong. Reading books isn't evil. You didn't cause your parents' divorce. You didn't cause these fires. You are not the devil's door. And you don't deserve to be hurt. I wish I could say more, but these are not my children. And as a teacher, I have had to learn how much I am and am not allowed to interfere in other people's families. Take care of each other, okay? They nod. Well, that was kinda what I expected, pretty much. Rough text, but that's kinda how things have been sometimes and can still be sometimes. We head outside. Mrs. Spears is only too glad to get us out of her home. Are you done this time? Or are you going to come back and put them through the ringer all over again or arrest them? They are not in any trouble, ma'am. We have everything we need. You might want to go easy on the girls for a little while though. Don't tell me how to be a parent. Mrs. Spears, you probably know that story about the girls being kidnapped by cultists. It isn't true. Well, of course it's not. There's no such thing as witches. That's just my husband's nonsense. Okay, so the mom isn't like the big problem. She knew. Then why didn't she say anything? Oh, it's probably complicated. The who knows like what she has been through. Ma'am, were you aware that your husband was using a belt on those girls? I'm divorcing him, aren't I? I see. She adjusts her jacket. Since the girls' injuries have been recorded and filed as battery, would you be interested in filing charges against your husband? No. You understand we have a legal case pending, don't you? What do you think would happen if I complained? It is the right of a father in his state to discipline his children as he sees fit. Okay, in this state, yeah, I guess that answers the question I had. Not to the point of abuse. When marks are left, you tell that to a southern judge who thinks being switched never did him no harm. No, if I complain, I'm the nagging lying bitch trying to steal children from a strict loving father. I talked to my lawyer. Raising a fuss makes my chances for custody worse, not better. Accusing him will just make people sympathize with him. Besides, this is better for them. He's got it on the record now that some evil cult hit his daughters. He reported a crime. That means he had to admit that hurting them was a weak thing to do. Maybe he'll think twice next time. ... Alright, but ma'am, don't hesitate to call if there are problems. You have rights. That appears to be the end of that conversation. Yeah, I guess it is pretty complicated. There's nothing left to do here. yeah, like the upsetting part is that like the kids are like the really good kind of kids, and then like the dad is belting them like frequently even then. Like that is nonsense. Like there's absolutely like even in general like the belting thing most likely does more harm than good. Like no matter what kind of a kid, like if it's like the wild kind of kid, then it just makes them more angry, and then they will act on impulse to like rebel even more. And the good kind of people or kids only get get like, well, silently salty, I guess. There's nothing left to do here. Yeah. I slide back into the passenger seat and sigh, tipping my head back. You okay? She pulls the door shut. It's such a mess. Why can't everyone just tell the truth? Well, because there are things. It would certainly make police work easier if everyone told the truth up front. It's hard to believe she's letting her husband get away with such a stupid lie. Yeah, well, kinda, but also like, well, taking the kids away is like a greater goal, and also like sticking it to the husband in a way, I guess, hopefully. I mean, they are all lying. The father lies, the kids lie for him, the mother lies for them. Everybody lies. Some people have better reasons than others. Even you lie to your parents, to your co-workers, to society. Because I don't tell people I'm a lesbian. Well, like, well, back then, but even like nowadays, like, like you don't just like go like every place and like proclaim like, yo, I'm gay, by the way, just getting this out. Like it is like, well, sometimes there are situations where it works, but most likely not. And it's not like it matters most of the time anyway. Or like you could tattoo like the I'm gay thingy on your forehead. Really? Well, then you wouldn't have to tell, so it would be less awkward, I guess. But I don't like getting tattoos, and would be kinda extreme. I guess I could put one on the VTuber, but not the best aesthetic exactly. Maybe not. When I was a minor, living with my parents, I was too innocent to understand how their beliefs were stifling me. If I had known, well, this is definitely a thing that has happened in the past to people and probably still happens. We lie because we are afraid, but we shouldn't have to. It would be a better world if we could all try to understand each other. I suppose only God can provide perfect judgment and perfect love. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's given like these people who claim they are all for God and then beat their children. Sorry, I know you're not really comfortable with the church. Now I think I'm pretty comfortable with my choice by now. About religions anyway. She sits there, facing me, but her eyes keep jumping back and forth. She looks at me, she looks at her hands, and she makes no move to start the car. I'm fine, if that's what you're wondering. I suppose talking to those girls has brought up a few associations from my past, but I didn't have a traumatic childhood. I wasn't whipped or paddled. I was sheltered. I feel sorry for Mary and Anne and their mother, and I hope things get better for them, but I don't need comforting. I'm more upset about the prospect of failing on this case. Let me drink more. She keeps looking at me. Why does she keep looking at me? I pull my purse up into my lap just to give myself an excuse to look away, then set it down again unopened. Fire starter, funny thing, isn't it? For a title like that to come up while we are investigating someone starting fires. Yup, sure is a coincidence. But obviously the dad has nothing going for him. Wouldn't be like somebody impulsive or somebody trying to make a case for her daughters or anything like that. Surely it's not the dad. He's a religious, good guy and everything. She breathes out and finally looks away. I have read that book. It's not about witches and pagan rituals at all. The girl starts fires with her mind. It's all drugs and psionics and government conspiracies. I know, I have read it too. I didn't think you would have. Well, I prefer fantasy, but it wasn't a bad book. She prefers fantasy. How does that make sense? I thought she was making fun of me last night for still reading them. But not really, I guess, more like for being surprised that they actually like the same thing. I wasn't in the best of moods yesterday, especially not after our argument. Maybe I misinterpreted what she was telling me. Jackie is a regular at the comic shop, isn't she? That checkout girl knew her right away. But if she is still in touch with our dreams, why did she think I would? No, none of this matters right now. Well, it's still a strange coincidence, don't you think? Even if it's not magical, it is about starting fires. And they said it was Millie's favorite book. Maybe Millie's a pyro, like you were talking about before. Nope, I really doubt it. They said the friend Millie graduated. It must have been months ago at the nearest. If she went to college, she could be anywhere now, including Tiger State. Didn't they say they had a friend there? We have the contact number for the college pagan club. We should call them and ask if they know Millie Cassibree. We could, but it's really going out on a limb. There's no evidence to connect Millie to this case, even though even those girls turned out to have no connection. Yeah, except the dad. Maybe we should look back at the Cross Boys again. He mentioned a girlfriend and a younger sister, and we haven't gotten any information on them yet. I slapped my thigh, disgruntled. You checked the fingerprints. Eduardo is the one person you know for certain didn't start the fire. And then I'm forced to stop and adjust my skirt. That wasn't very ladylike of me. You had no reason to keep hassling him. He's the only person with a criminal record connected to this case. Well, not Some people just never get caught. That's because we haven't found the culprit yet. It's not right to fixate on Eduardo just because he's in the system. I thought the police were supposed to have moved beyond that. I haven't cuffed him and dragged him off. We know Eduardo didn't set the sack fire by himself. That doesn't mean he wasn't there, just that someone else handled that bottle. You think it's unlikely that Eduardo and Alex tossed the lucky penny? Friend of theirs, especially this unknown girlfriend that he was shoplifting for, could have slipped our radar. Yeah, well, maybe, but like the sack is most likely that though. Of course, that's not certain. It could have been something else entirely, but we still can't rule them out. We don't have anything else. Yeah, like I don't know why the dad would have tossed the shop like that. That I don't know, but the campfire might be like the place where they burnt the books. Or even then, like I don't actually know. Like you would probably see like from the fire like that it is from books, because books probably burn like way differently than logs. Maybe it's not that. Maybe that is like even like also a separate incident. But like that isn't like, well, it is iffy, but it's not like a crime. Like thoughts in the sack and thoughts in the store, like those are crimes of sure, but well, the campfire is kinda like well, you wouldn't get much of a sentence out of it, like no matter what, I guess. So we look harder. Come on, let's go back to your station and call up the Neo-Pagan Circle. If they can't help, then we'll try something else. For a campus call, it might be a good idea to avoid using the official phone. I have heard they are rolling out the test equipment for the new caller ID system there. Oh, I heard about that on TV. Being able to know who's calling me without having to pick up the phone would mean never being blindsided by my mother again. However, I'd have to buy a display unit to hook into my phone, and I'll bet they'd bill me monthly for the service too. Yeah, kinda. Remember like that being a thing? Like in the beginning, you didn't know like who was calling you. Maybe someday, when I'm rich and famous enough to have more people trying to call me. But wouldn't it be a good thing to be able to prove PR with the police? That depends on how nervous you want them to be. With the fires all over the news screaming about Satanists, they might refuse to answer if they think the police are calling them. Student organizations generally don't have dedicated phone lines. The number I have is likely to be the room phone of the club president. The flyer said to ask for Moonrise. Is that a code word? If they are using secret codes all the time, they probably would react badly to the police calling them. Alright, let's go find a payphone. And maybe some lunch. You're hungry already. My brain needs a lot of fuel for thinking. With varying class schedules, there's no way to know when this person might be answering their phone. If we call before and after a meal, we have a better chance of catching them. That's logical. You kind of an excuse. Great, let's get pizza. Ooh. Are you buying? Do I have to? You said that feeding your specialist was a valid business expense, didn't you? Feeding a specialist, right? Oops, I just called myself hers. Well, so what? I got to stop overreacting to every little thing either one of us says. As far as I can tell, she's been trying to be nice today. She was even trying to be nice last night. I'm the one who keeps getting angry. For good reasons, but it's not helpful. Great, then it's a plan. What do you want on your half? She blinks, then inclines her head and follows my lead. Well, like, is pizza that expensive that you can't buy it yourself? Tari bulbous pizza. Pizza, truly the food of the gods. Yeah, well, it is good, but haven't been eating it too much. Though I kinda want to make it now. But I don't have the ingredients and it isn't like, well, it is pretty much night, so not going to happen. And conveniently for our needs, there's a phone booth right outside. I remember when we were in college, some joker used that phone to order delivery right to the parking lot. Our first attempt at dialing up left us ringing into empty air. Luckily, the pizza parlor isn't too busy inside, so they don't mind our hogging a table while we digest our food and try again. At the moment, I have let Jackie wasting her quarters on some kung fu arcade game while I pop mine into the phone's pay slot. Ringing. Click. Hello, woman. I'm high. Now that someone's final answered, I wish for a moment that Jackie were doing this. She makes a bit of secret agent. May I speak to Moonrise? This is she. That's the name. Who's calling, please? My name is Diane Carter. I was calling about your pagan circle. Are you a reporter? No, No one here is a servant of Satan. The mother goddess represents unconditional love. We open ourselves to be in tune with the energy of the universe. So they are some kind of hippies, I guess. I'm not a reporter. I'm not accusing you of anything. We probably should have called them yesterday if we wanted any leads on fire worship. They are obviously a little defensive now. I was actually hoping to find someone who I thought might be in your group, Millie Cassibri. Why, are you a friend of hers? No, wait, you recognize the name? We are on the right track. But how can I win her over? I always feel more comfortable meeting people for the first time in person. When you smile at them and they smile back, there's a connection. Over the phone, I can't tell if they think I'm charming or unbelievably stupid. Or you could be like, oh, this is about the books that were borrowed from her, like something like that. It's different when you're talking to someone you already know and you can picture them in your mind. I have no idea who this Moonrise is or what she looks like. She could even be Millie herself. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe she is. I'm a school teacher, not her teacher, but I know some students who are friends of hers. Okay, I'm fudging the truth a little, but only a little. Your parents won't allow them to talk to her anymore, but they wanted to know how she was doing, so I was hoping I could speak to her. No, I can't give you her dorm address or phone without her permission. That's not making much progress. I can't tell you that Tanwen's fine. Tanwen? That's her magical name, which she took when she dedicated herself to the craft. It means sacred fire. Yeah, that's not suspicious at all, but the comic book store girl. Oh, I see. Well, that's good to know. Did you want me to give her a message? I had to check with my students. Thank you very much for your time. Have a blessed day. Hang up the phone and stand there for a moment, just looking at it. Jenna rushed into the pizza parlor and dragged Jackie away from her game, waving at the cashier as we leave. What? Millie is Tanwen. I quickly relate what I heard from Moonrise. It was staring us in the face all along. Firestarter, Firestarter. They even have similar plots about an organization trying to control a girl with fire powers. And her lucky crystal was a carnelian which draws on the power of the sun and the element of fire. No wonder she knew who Alex and Eduardo were. They all went to the same school. Forget about the boys. We need to know who really did this now. We have a lead on a suspect and a viable theory, but we don't have evidence, not even circumstantial, not yet. Well, can we steal her crystal pyramid to get her fingerprints? The police department is not allowed to steal in order to investigate. At least under current regulations. To check her fingerprints, we'd either have to have them on file, have enough reason to arrest her, or we'd have to get them from an item that didn't belong to her and we had the right to take. So if she threw something away, that would be fair game. Legally, if she throws something away in her own trash can or her workplace's trash can, that's still either her property or property of the garbage company. She would have to deliberately give something to us or abandon it in public. But you can basically just like buy a book and fingerprint it then, right? Okay, so what can we do? I have to admit, brainstorming like this is very exciting. I feel like real detective. Could we get fingerprints off a comic? She'll hand those to us when we buy them. A comic book isn't an ideal service. You want something that isn't absorbent, so that the fingerprint stands out on it better. And if it's been out in the store, lots of people would have touched it already. I guess you can't polish a comic book clean. What can you? Not a comic, but I may have an idea. Shall we? We walk back to the car and Jackie opens the door for me. I'm not sure she even noticed she was doing it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure like this isn't actually like the thing, like maybe the campfire is by her. But I doubt like the shack is by the dad. And then the the shop, like no idea. Like maybe that is just just the owner scamming the insurance company. I don't protest. I just pull my feet in so we can get moving. A bookstore. Paperback books. A nice shiny new book cover ought to pick up fingerprints nicely. I can clean it in the car. She's so pleased with herself, she looks like a kid in a candy store. How is buying a book here going to get you the fingerprints of someone in the different store? That's a professional secret. We wheel between shelves, homing in on the fantasy and science fiction section. I have never understood why bookstores like to give the biggest displays to general or literary fiction and shunt off the specialized genres, mystery, romance, sci-fi, to lesser corners. Like it's like romance, like a specialized thing. But yes, in a way, but like it sounds pretty common to me. Everyone knows it's genre fans that keep consistently coming back for more. Romance readers buy books by the truckload. I guess I would too if I could afford it. And if I had time to read it. Though I guess I could have time to read it if I made it. But haven't been sadly reading too much. Like I used to read like lesbian fiction quite a bit, but kinda fell off the tracks there and haven't gotten back. I don't know. Also I used to read manga, but I have read it a little but not too much. I don't know if it's the stress or, well, spending too much doing other things. Oh well, of course, if they know we are desperate and dedicated, they probably can afford to make us work a little harder for our treats. We are like cute little hamsters, threading the labyrinth to find our carrots, while the mainstream will only gobble up whatever's first put in front of them. Just what I wanted. She bends over to snag a title off the shelf, coincidentally displaying the shape of her backside as the fabric of her pants tightens across it. I quickly focus my attention on the books in front of me instead. Elves, witches, and a rune-covered sword, the simple things in life. I didn't have this one yet, see? I want to turn back to look and see what she's holding. It's a book. It's a Rosalind Perry book. She's my favorite author. She reads my books. She likes my books. Does she realize? Is this a prank or a test? Some kind of interrogation technique? Have you ever read this? I have heard of her. She has no idea, does she? Should I tell her? She has no reason to believe me. She has no reason to doubt me either, but no, it's just too complicated. It would sound like I was trying to impress her. This can also get awkward later, but oh well. I have met enough men at those dreadful publishing events who lie to me about how famous they are over champagne and cocktail sausages. So are you buying that on the company dime? Hey, I'm not taking advantage. This is a genuine sacrifice. I'm going to have to give this to the lab for tests, and it could be weeks before I get it back, so I can read it. He genuinely likes my books. I don't often meet and interact with fans. I had an offer to be a guest speaker at MidSouthCon once, but I didn't get there. It's too close to home. What if someone recognized me? When I was just a newly budding baby author, I did fantasize that some woman in the world would read my work and fall in love with me and send me letters, and we'd be swept off into grand romance. Well, that's not a bad dream, I guess. But in reality, the only people dedicated enough to send fan mail to my publisher are either teenagers or people whose grip on reality is too tenuous for my tastes. They are called fanatics for a reason. Jackie would never write any sort of gushing letter, I'm sure. Would be kind of funny though. I don't know how I would have handled it if I'd received a fan letter from my former girlfriend. Loved until I cried and then made myself sick on banana ice cream, I suppose. Are you alright? Fine. Did you want to buy something? No, not right now. I'm watching my pennies. Alright, I'll just get this and we can go. She's buying my book. Ha! Jackie pushes the door open for me and holds it there, her hands played just above my eye height. I can see the straps and stitching of her black leather clothes. Back when we were in college, when she had worn clothes like that, they would have been studded with rhinestones or silver spikes. Okay. Her look is more professional now. Some elements are still the same as they ever were. Oh hey, you guys again. Can't eat just one, huh? I smile nervously and look away. I don't trust my acting skills enough to interact with her. Luckily, Sai is pretty well in keeping with what she'd expect from me. Hey Tanman, are there any new sword and sorcery comics out now that Sonja's cancelled? Sorry, the old sweaty fantasy is kind of going out of fashion. The way I see it, aliens are the next big thing. Can I interest you in adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters? No thanks. I can kind of see what that is trying to reference to. She processed the racks a bit. Hey, this will do. She holds up an issue featuring a woman in skimpy red outfit wielding some kind of daggers. The art style is unusually sketchy for a comic book, and I can't make out any more detail than that. Oh, good choice if you like gritty. She's got a huge body count. Yeah. Jackie moves to the cash register, setting down the comics she's buying and the books she was carrying with her. Yeah, they are not even allowed to sell this on the newsstands. It's against the comics code. You have got to come to a specialty shop. She rings up the purchase and takes Jackie's cash. Of course, you already support the shop. Yeah. Jackie takes the bag and walks back to meet me. Let's go. Okay. As we reach the door, Jackie again pulls it open and beckons me through. Hey, wait. She holds up the paperback, her bare fingertips against the smooth cover. You forgot your book? Oh, that is sneaky, but it works. I flop back into the passenger seat, giggling with relief. Jackie remains perfectly calm as she drops the book into a Ziploc evidence bag, never removing her clothes. Come on, look happy, we did it. There she cracks a tiny smile. I suppose we did. We make a pretty good team, don't we? There I go again. Look, I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep making things awkward. It's just hard figuring out what to say. I'm sure that's probably true for you too. But we are working together and we are doing a good job. We should be proud of that. I wonder what our lives might have been like if we had stayed together. Would it have been like this all the time? Holmes and Watson, Cagney and Lacey? We'll never know. Jackie grips the steering wheel, steering straight ahead, ignition untouched. Are you alright? Everyone lies. Right? Are you feeling guilty for tricking Tanman? They did know each other, at least casually. If she's innocent, the prince could clear. Not Tanman. She sucks in a deep breath, which comes back out shaking. I'll lie to you. I'll let you believe things that aren't true. I need to come clean. I'm okay. I already know about the infidelity and drinking. What else is there to come clean about? There is Tanman like the Carol girl. You were my first proper girlfriend. Certainly not the first girl I kissed or even my first lover, but you were my first relationship. I didn't know how to have a relationship. I felt like all my experience had been dirty compared to you. You deserved something better and I didn't know how to give it to you. I looked at the movies and I couldn't decide if I was supposed to be the lone cowboy or the prince with the glass slipper, but I knew it was my job to protect you. Well, well, this isn't like the best way to go about it. Like, you can also be just yourself. You're not a bodyguard or anything exactly if you're dating somebody. I wanted to make things perfect for you. And if I was good enough at taking care of you, then that would make me good enough as a person, because I didn't think I was. What do you mean? I was trashed with a bad past, done crimes, been in fights, slept around, got told by my folks that I was a mistake. I wasn't good enough for you, and I knew eventually you'd figure that out. What are you talking about? I never thought you weren't good enough. You didn't have to. I knew it. Or at least I believed it. And I believed that's what you would think if you ever realized what I really was. I tried to make myself look perfect for you, but that meant keeping you away so you wouldn't see the truth. I couldn't tell you when I was failing a class or when I had to drop one to take more shifts to pay for the credits. Failing, but you're smart. Only you thought that. I'm not good at essays and tests, and I don't always have the background. Remember how much you had to coach me when we were freshmen? I felt bad about making you do that all the time, so I stopped telling you when I was struggling. But I wanted to help you. Easy saying it was my fault. I know, but the way it was then, I thought that being a burden on you would drag you down. It would mean I wasn't being a good provider, and that would mean I had failed. I needed help, but I didn't want you to see it, so I took myself away from us. I started drinking too much. I know. No, you don't. You think you do. That's why this is so hard. I don't want you to think that I'm making this up just to get you to forgive me. And I feel all terrible for you're going to think this is all just some pathetic attempt. She leans her head into her hands, fingers pushing through her hair. Careful, don't honk the horn. Let me drink. That elicits a snort, which very nearly does drive her elbows into the wrong part of the wheel. She sits up again, shaking her head. Okay, don't interrupt, let me try. I was drinking a lot. One night I drank way too much. Enough that I don't really remember everything that happened. And when I woke up the next morning, I was in Carol's apartment on her couch. My clothes were on, my shoes were off, and I had no idea how I got there. I was really scared. Wait, was that the night that she didn't come home? Well, probably. When she got up, I asked her what happened. She said that I got excited in the bar and pulled her up to dance with me, and that I kissed her in public in an ordinary straight bar. And that almost kicked off a whole brawl, but she convinced the frat boys I was too drunk to know what I was doing, which was true. And then I got sick, and she dragged me off and took me home with her. And then I hit the couch and passed out, and she slept alone. At least that's what she said. Well, like I'm pretty sure you can't do much in this kind of condition. This must have been a different night then. I don't remember her going missing before that, but if she told me she was planning to stay out or visit someone, or our class schedules were strange enough, I might not have noticed. But it's probably the same one. Maybe this was how they first got together. maybe they never got together even. Even then, I couldn't remember for sure. Carol says we never had sex, but I can't be certain. I could have done anything with anyone. Not that night is not the same as never, but he asked me not to interrupt. I didn't choose to betray you, at least not awake and not sober. I just found out that it had happened, might have happened, would happen. Even if it hadn't happened that time, I knew then that it was going to happen eventually. It was inevitable. I was no prince, just some clueless drunk who couldn't hold it together. If I stayed with you, sooner or later, I was going to cheat on you. That's why I went home and broke up with you. Wait, I don't understand. You slept with Carol, that's why you dumped me. But not exactly then, I guess. No, I made you think I slept with Carol because I was totally bugging out. And I thought I had to cut things off as soon as possible before you got hurt. Before? Well, probably like kinda made her hurt. Are you saying you came home that day and crushed me, threw me away so that you wouldn't hurt me? Yeah? You broke up with me to avoid breaking up with me. That's your explanation. Well, her explanation is, I guess, like she didn't know how to be in a relationship and well, she would probably remain drunk or something if nothing changed. I know, I realize it's incredibly stupid. I wasn't thinking straight. I was hungover and I hated myself and I felt like going on any longer with you. Letting you think you loved me was cruel. I needed you to know that what a piece of what I was. I convinced myself that I was doing it to protect you and you'd be better off without me. You'd have this great happy life and all the things I couldn't give you. I told myself I was being noble. Making myself miserable meant that I was doing the right thing. That the only way I could prove I loved you was to leave and never look back. Oh, kinda twisted logic, but I can kinda see it, I guess. But I think now that I was being a coward. It was easier to tear my life apart on purpose than to live in fear of it collapsing. Instead of worrying you'd find out I didn't deserve you, I made sure of it. ... My mind feels like someone's dropped all my folders and I'm struggling to put the pages back together again, but nothing's numbered and one piece looks the same as another. Yeah, well, I don't know like how much this exactly changes things, like dumping you in that way is like in some level at least like an asshole move, like even if like the intentions are better than that, like the fact that she dumped her is like, well, that holds. So I don't know like if it that much like the pages have been all dropped and mumbled. If we weren't in a car, I would walk away, not running away, just walk and keep my body moving until my brain can catch up again. It's not safe to do that here. I'm so distracted, I might walk into traffic. What happened after that? What? You and Carol, did you move in with her? Did you date? Not exactly. Would you believe it if I said you were my first girlfriend and my last? Since I decided that it's been hookups, businesswomen looking for a fling. You meet them in the rainbow bar sometimes, ladies looking for an adventure and nothing more. Well, to each their own, I guess. Never anyone who became part of my life. I thought that was me being mature. I realize now that it wasn't. Well, like for some people, like maybe relationships just aren't like your thing, like that is also possible. And like nothing wrong with that. Well, I guess she's kinda regretting though. Flings, like the other day, when you had plans. Haha. No, that was lie too. I wasn't seeing anyone that night. I just wanted an excuse to get away from me. I can't disagree. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. I'm not pressuring you to forgive me. Please don't feel that you don't do anything because you think you have to. I wanted you to know the truth, and I wanted you to know that I was wrong, and I know I was wrong, and I regret everything. I made so many stupid choices, but they all started with lying to you. I wanted you to know. Yeah, like this would have never happened, I guess, like if you had, like, well, if you had admitted that you have trouble, basically. Like, well, little lie builds up and then snowballs. And like later on it becomes like harder to correct it. But even then, like you can't just do it, like nothing stops you, I guess. I can't do this. I can't even look at her. I think I'm going to be sick. Please take me home. I'm afraid for a moment that she might reach out to touch me to try and comfort me. Well, she probably won't though. Like she probably thinks that oh, she hates her and now she hates her even more. If she did, I'd probably scream. But after a long pause, I hear the engine start up and we are moving again. Woof woof. So well, yeah, I wonder like, okay, I can see like many ways how this can go like. Well, I guess the major way to go about this would be like, like the next time you call like about this job, you like double check like, by the way, are you still alright working with me basically? And like, well, being like, you know, I just wanted to be honest, but there's nothing beyond that, like this is just business. Unless well, the unless part needs to be kind of like wink wink. But well, probably you want to somehow like double check that. But yeah, Dan wants to well do this thing and like it's not getting too overwhelming. I know Timmy is jumping around my feet, but the sound of his barking feels very removed, like an echo down a long tunnel. I should do something. I should petting. I don't know. I can't think. I push the door closed behind me with my foot, key still gripped in my hand. What am I going to do? Oh, like eat ice cream. How am I supposed to feel now? Is she telling the truth? Is everything that's happened since that night has been nothing but one huge stupid mistake? Well, on her part, yeah. If Jackie had been willing to talk to me with honesty all those years ago, where would we be now? Probably in a better spot. That's how it usually goes with this talking thing. Tends to be good. Does the past even matter anymore if we are both changed? Well, probably doesn't need to matter that much. I walk to the couch, head swaying like a balloon on a stick, and sink into the cushions. Woof! Timmy leaps up to repeat his hellos and rub his fur without really feeling it. We work well together. We still have so many interests in common. Neither of us has ever found another permanent relationship to connect to. If she had told me, if I had asked questions instead of assuming the worst, if we had had the strength to hold on to each other and refuse to let go, yeah, yeah, but then again, like, but this is probably, like, I don't know, like, if this is a problem with me, but like, if my partner comes to me and goes like, it's over, then I'm kinda like, well, like, I don't like own the partner, like, she's not my property or anything, so, well, if she decides that she does want to break up, like, who am I to, like, try to stop that, really? Like, maybe I should, and well, maybe I could say something like, well, I don't want us to break up, like, is there any other way? But beyond that, like, if the answer is no, then the answer is no, I guess. Well, I guess, like, helplessness like that kinda sucks, but I don't know if there is a better way to do it. So, like, when Jackie told her that it's over, like, well, you can either accept it, or then you risk being like the like the ex who keeps like bugging you like all the time, even though it is actually over. So, like, yeah, there aren't like easy options, I guess, but I guess like the easy way around this is just be like, well, there's no way to get those years back. Do I want to try again? Does she? She didn't say she did. She didn't say she didn't. She's probably kinda well, like, she's in a rougher spot because she was the asshole. Like, like, when you're the asshole and you come back to your ex, then it can be tricky. Well, kind of getting on my voice, but I'll try to finish this chapter and then that's it. She wouldn't say anything. She doesn't want to pressure me. After all, none of this is news to her. I'm the one sent spinning. Jackie and I meeting for the first time, if she were a strange policewoman with gorgeous eyes and a taste for fantasy who was guiding me through this mystery, I would absolutely be falling for her. But we have a past, and we can't just set it aside, can we? I have fought so hard to get her out of my heart, and I have failed every time. Wow, that makes it easier. Kinda, I guess. Like the hard part is when you succeed. Talking kinda from experience. I have never let go. I have never moved on. I have never stopped. Yeah, but by the way, like, I don't think like anybody, well, if there is somebody like me who you are dating and like you say that it's over, like, it will be hell if you want to get back together. Like, I guess like that is the rough part of the, well, I don't argue if you want to tell it's over, but then it's really over part. Like, that is the downside. But like, it is also like a way to get on your feet, like, eventually, and stuff like that. I'm so confused. My fist clenches and I wince at the uneven blades of my house keys dig into my fingers. I grope for my purse, pulling it up into the couch and shove my hand inside to put the keys away. My fingers touch something unexpected. Smooth, hard and cold, almost tingly. I let go of the keys and pull the foreign object free. What? Okay. Well, that's... maybe it's her all along. The future is now. It's so difficult to say yes. I have a vision of who I am and what I want. I'm going to reach out and control my future. But if you don't control your future, then someone or something else will. Your membership begins with a professional makeover and a coaching session to help you look your best in your personal video pitch. Our team of experts will guide you through every step to bring out your unique selling points. There are more than 60 million adult men and women in the United States who are looking to make that same connection. Let us help you by bringing together modern technology with old-fashioned romance. Through video dating, you can be on the road to empowerment and romantic fulfillment. Join now. Oh, that is like old Tinder, I guess. Well, I'll save here. Not during the beeps, preferably. But yeah, it is getting interesting. Though maybe it's just the Tanman person like sewing the thing into the bag. Or maybe it's the kids or the somebody else like that. Who knows? Anyway, it was a fun session. Kinda long, but I had a lot of fun and it's getting interesting again. Well, I guess probably I will be playing this on Saturday too. Like maybe this is getting closer to the end. Who knows? Like it says in this these kind of games, like the chapters get longer towards the end, and like stubbornly trying to play like one chapter per stream is kind of tricky. But oh well, I made it so far. It was fun. So maybe on the Saturday. Anyway, thank you for watching and see you again. Bye bye.